Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Crimi-Trent. Today we're working on a bright, floral, fun pansy bouquet. This is really simple, step-by-step beginner type flower to do. I know it doesn't seem that way, but it really is. I show you how to make this simple flower, and you're just bleeding in dark color, and you're just swiping up some dark lines and throwing in a yellow center. And then the stems are pretty easy. If you're a Patreon member, I have an extended version of this video, so it's a little bit longer for you. Otherwise, if not, you're just still going to get taught how to make this bouquet. If you haven't subscribed to my Patreon channel, go check it out. The link is in the profile and on the About page here in the description box. I have exclusive tutorials there on Thursdays and ad-free videos and traceables that go with my YouTube channels. And if you haven't hit the bell notification button, I would suggest you do that because my videos are kind of sporadic, and that way you know when they're up. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section, and let's get started on some fun Floral Friday. Okay guys, so for this tutorial I'm going to go over supplies. I have a piece of Arches 100% cotton cold pressed paper. This is the 9x12 pad, paper towels, paints. I go over those as I use them. I'll be working with Princeton 8 long round, maybe my Grumbacher 2, number 10 golden edge. I have my water jars up here, and then the paints, a bunch of paints over here. I'm actually going to break out the where is it, the Watercolor Bright Rose paint. It's number 370 for Holbein. Look at that color. So a few things about having intense pretty blooms. Color is huge for me, and I love Holbein because the pigment is intense and it makes these bright, vibrant blooms. Colors. And papers, another key, like having the arches, so you can do a nice bleed if you're doing wet on wet, especially with this pansy flower. That's the key. Second key to having great bright blooms. And the third key is just having colors that just go well together. You can have colors all over the rainbow, but mostly it should be in a similar theme. So you have a bunch of purples and blues, and then throw in a couple of yellows here and there and some pinks. But it wouldn't be every single color on the rainbow, which you could do. I like to keep it in a theme, and then you can throw a few ones in. So you could draw out the pansy. I'm just going to paint it because that's just easier. But pansies are basically these shapes that are like a teardrop, but then a teardrop on the side, another teardrop here, and another one here, and then you have the little center, and then you see the darker lines coming from the center going outward like this. Actually, pansies, I'm sorry. Pansies and violets and pansies are kind of similar. Violets a little tinier. And then the side view of that would be like that. Just simple like that. And then they have these leaves that are kind of like this. I just kind of make a jaggedy. But I find it easier just to paint it. So we're going to just make some colors, we'll make some fun, bright colors. I brought out that rose color. And I'm going to work with my Grumbacher first. And there's a little blue on this palette, so I'm going to try and clean that up first. But look already, that color right there is pretty darn intense. So we're going to make a simple pansy. We're just going to make this roundish shape, kind of like I was showing you a teardrop, but then you can do it different ways. You can go like the teardrop and then connect the teardrop, and then so you have two teardrops connected, just like that. It's kind of like upside down heart, right? And you take the same paint, and then you go on the outside like this. Another one, right? And then you put another one back here, just like that. And I kind of didn't make it go simple right in the straightforward in the middle. I kind of made the top piece go to the left. And so that's wet right now. We're going to go back in with that paintbrush and grab the pigment you see over here. Less water in it. It's real intense. And you're going to just tap that right in the center. Right there, you have the coolest little flower. You don't have to do much work to it. When it dries, you can go in and add some lines to it And if you want to go in and add some more of the pigment kind of down here in the middle, so you're kind of pushing the paint downward, you could do that. But you have this really cool, simple, bright flower, you know. And then you want different ones to go off next to that in the same color theme. So I have magenta over here. It's a little bit different pink, right? I might add a little bit of this cadmium yellow deep to it, and it's going to change it even more, and put it over here. So it's a different type of pink tonal. Again, we can make some pansies going like this, leaning sideways and downward. Right, you still have that heart shape, but now it's on the side. I did it on the heart and the side, and then a little one here. And again, for the middle, you want to get even darker, or you could put in a yellow. Clean up my brush, I grab my cadmium yellow deep, I put a little water to that and just tap the middle, and you can let that bleed into that for first. And you can go back in, take that magenta and the yellow, and tap outside here and have that bleed. You get these really vibrant colors. So while we're on the vibrant color, I'm going to make a purple. You can have a purple, but I'm taking my peacock blue, which is very vibrant blue, right here, back here. I'm going to mix it with that rose. And you get this really pretty purple. I'm really going to water this down because I want a really light purple one. So I'm going to again put a rounded shape up here, kind of wiggly, and then one out to the side, leaving a space of white here. Space of white, and then you do this little kind of heart down below. And I don't kind of connect every single leaf, petal. You see that? Zoom in. And then I'm going to go in the center again with the darker purple. I'm going to grab that. I'm going to take that rose really and the paint of the blue and make an intense, or I can just take some indigo and some rose, make it even darker purple, and then just hit the center, right? And see how it bleeds out? That's why this paper is the best. And you have like an instant pansy. You can't get better than that. Now this got a little nuts, so I might go back. My palette's getting a little messy here. With the pink. See, now I get too much purple on my brush. And you can take the tip and just kind of make these lines going outward from the center. Coming down. Just like that. And you have that intensity. And also you can go in and grab the yellow and stick that right in the middle. Again with this one too. And they come in so many different colors, and you can just keep painting, I mix that yellow in there. See how muddy that gets when you get the yellow in there? I'm sorry. I'm trying to show you too many things at once. So go back to this purple. I get my magenta. My rose. I could use magenta too. And I'm just making more of these pretty little blooms. Pretty simple. Connecting it to this one. So that's on the side. So I didn't really show this, how I did like the heart here and the little bump and this. I'm showing it on the side. So it's more like a rounded shape here. I kind of did the double heart, but really kind of like a blob. And I'll connect it and I'll go back in again with the purple. Right in the center. I'm just going to tap that center and let it bleed out. And this is a really deep purple. So it's pretty simple. And for some of the for the leaves, I'm going to grab my olive green here, watercolor, mix in some more yellow, cabin yellow deep. I'll grab that peacock blue. I got a nice pretty green. Or if you have a nice green that you like. I'm just going to put some greenery. So I'm just going to take this brush, make a nice stem coming out here. And then I'm going to do this simple, almost like a triangular shape going down, but leaving a space. So it's like, you see that? It's a triangle, but a little triangle inside. And then you can put a little leaf. Just taking your brush, pushing it down and connecting that like that. With that little triangle, we'll clean up our brush and we'll grab some whatever pink or purple or whatever we want to grab. I might grab this rose again. And we're just going to put some paint, kind of like a shape of a pea pod. And just like that. That would be the bloom that's not bloomed yet. And then I can go back in and add some of that bright color. So really the Holbein colors makes it what it's so pretty. So I'm keeping my yellow, zoom back out, mix with magenta. I get this nice deep red. We're going to be playing around with color so much. Again, we make a little pansy in here. It's kind of like a 3-prong or 4-prong little petal flower. See how simple I put that little red in there? You want to kind of really crunch them in, connect them. And then you can go in and take your brush. I'm taking Indigo, what is this? Sorry, Prussian blue, magenta, making a deep purple. I'll add some more magenta, or maybe even some crimson, because I want a deep red, and even the rose, and a little bit of this yellow. Kind of making like a burgundy color here. Let's see what happens when we drop that color in here. It's like almost black, but gives it a little intense, right? Just changes it. And you just you keep grabbing a green. So, that's a simple way to do it. So once this dries, like I said, you can go back in and you can go and add the yellow center. You can take a skinnier brush, like I have in a Princeton number 4, and take that deep purple that you have. Make a deep purple. Let me zoom in. And you can make those little lines that you see from the center outward. Just like that. Going out to the side. Once you've bled the simple part of it in, you can go back in and just add those little lines that will really define it as a pansy. See? It's simple. So, I'm going to go through where I'm just going to be painting a bunch of blooms, and you're going to see how I just connect them in just one bouquet, and then at the end we'll talk about leaves at the end. Okay, so once you've painted a bunch of the flowers, you can go in and grab your greens again. So I mixed up those greens again. And we're going to start flushing in some greenery. So the stems, we're just going to take them and go down, crisscross, just a few. We're not going to make a million of them. We're going to go in and take some green and just kind of fill in. See, I'm just kind of haphazardly just filling in between the fleurs with this green. This, I wanted to have another side bloom. There's a little too much water on that green, so it's bleeding in. I want a little thicker. So another side bloom like that. I had one up here. I'm going to add a flower to that. I'm just going to grab this bright green. I'm just going to put some little greens going out here. I'll put another side bloom here, right? And we can just go over here and add another little side bloom here. You see, we got this little weird little they're like claws. And then we're just taking the tip of the brush. I'm going to just fill in green here and there. And then for some of the leaves, we're just going to go like this. I'm going to take the brush, go out, push down, and kind of connect it, right? And you can make little lines going out like that from that wet leaf. We're not going to make too many leaves. We want it kind of bunched in. Put another one down here. So I'm just kind of pushing the brush side to side, and then I'm going to go in and take the tip and kind of pull out some spikes on that leaf. Same thing, side to side, and then just take the tip and push out some spikes. And then again here. And I'm just going to go fill in right next to that really pale flower some greens just to pull that flower out. Just filling in the center of the... So I would add a little bit, some darker greens. I would grab some of the blues you have, like indigo, and I'll just put some of that darker green, and I'll put that going down like that, and in between here. But I want to keep it bright and light, so I'm just going to put some of the dark green. See, I'm just kind of pushing it in. I'm not really making a particular leaf. I'm just kind of pushing in color. Just kind of filling in little white spots with the green. So we're not making a particular leaf. Just going, you see, I'm just making this movement of going like this. And if it gets on top of the flower, it's not a big deal. And then over here, kind of mixing the paint into together, so it's kind of like light and dark, medium kind of green. And again, I'm making another little leaf. Don't get bogged down if the leaf isn't a certain particular shape. Can add another little leaf here, little leaf out here, more greenery. We're just going to keep it simple, and then we can go back down again to our greens here. I'm going to add a little more yellow. Crisscross it. We're just making a little simple pansy bouquet. And I pushed that dark green down. You see how I just pushed that color down? I'm just going really fast and loose. I don't really care if it's, anatomically correct. I'm just going to kind of go like that to make my bouquet. It's kind of expressive, and that's what I want. And so then the flowers over here, I'll go back in and I'm like looking, see what colors I want. Maybe I'll do a little yellow one over there. See, I had just a few yellows, not too many. Mostly keeping it in the pinks and purples and blues. You want to kind of do that. You want to keep it in a certain colorway. I'm going to lift up all this blue mess. Grab my rose and make a pretty purple. And just put that color right down there. Like I told you, it's like almost like a pea pod. And do another one over here. Right? And then you just tweak it right, like I said earlier, you grab some of the darker tones, like even blue, black, and you can go into the ones that you didn't do the center. So you're just making these little lines, kind of going, spiking outward. on the leaves, on the petals, I'm sorry. And here, that's when you take your little skinny brush. This is number 4 Princeton Velvet Touch. And you're just making those little lines that come out through the petals. And you don't have to do it in every single flower. I mean, it can be very expressive. I think these are the easiest flowers that are so cool and fun to make. So many colors, right? The really, really dark ones, I'm just going to go in and fill in the yellow and all the spots that I missed. You know, and here, look around and see, oh, missed a yellow here, and here, and here, and here, and here. And I'm just taking that straight from the tube. And the one that's yellow, you can go in and grab a darker one. It could be yellow and dark. So I'm going to grab a dark color like this blue here, right? Again, making this really intense lines that are dark in the center. You can see how this pale purple, you just do a couple little spiky lines in the center here going outward. People will figure out that it's a pansy. I just do a few lines on those, on the pretty pale ones. I don't like to make a lot. You don't really need to do that. And you don't really need to do lines on every single one of them. Just a few. And you see how simple it was to do leaves. If you want to go back in for the leaves and get really detailed by adding in some double color tones, see how this, just get some darks in here. I kind of flush a little couple of darks. I just really took the paint. I actually have, this is green gouache, but I also use green, olive green watercolor, and then mix with indigo, and you get that really deep, intense green, bluish green, and just kind of fill it in certain areas. You get some shadows on the leaves. So it's not just one monochromatic type of color leaf. You want to kind of put in some darker greens and some lighter greens, especially right next to the really pale flowers. And then we just really come alive. And then you've got this really pretty, bright floral bouquet. See, I noticed I missed a yellow one there, yellow center. That's that. Like I said, there's a segment in here that's a little bit longer. That's for Patreon members. If you're a Patreon member, you can see the whole entire real-time video. For the YouTube, I shortened it a little bit. Just want to give my Patreons a little extra something, being such awesome Patreons. My YouTubers are awesome too. Everyone's awesome. I just, I feel like when people are paying for things, I should get a little extra. So there we go. I'm just going to add in a couple of deep, darker colors going on these next to the area of the bud, like of the green that's attached to it. Sorry, my brain is just fogged today. You can tell it's Friday. And, go ahead and just throw in some more green. Have fun. Make it a little bright. I'm going to grab some of this yellow. Get this real intense limey color green. Limey. And put some of that really... You could splatter some of the paint. I mean, it's pretty as it is. Go back on even more. You want to get wild and crazy on a Friday. Splatter some green. Right? Just kind of where the buds are coming out. And as notice in here, it's kind of just free falling by itself. The stem is not connected. So let's connect that stem and add some greens. And just like I said, just go and add some indigo straight from the damn tube and just throw it in that wet green. I think this is a really simple bouquet. You're basically just bunching in all those simple pansies. Brain cramp again, and I forgot where the yellow one that I missed. Can you find it? Where's Waldo? As I was painting, oh, there you are. And there you are. That's it. That's really it. So it's just those simple shapes. I'm going to get my basic Pansy 101. You don't have to go too crazy. You can, it's kind of like a blubble heart, right? An upside down heart. And then you connect another side petal, another side petal, and like this. Or, make it even easier, just do a 3-pronger. Got that 1 here, 2, even something like that. See, 3. And you just go in and you add, I'm just going to bleed in the darker color. I'm just pretending, I'm just showing you it's blue, but you bleed in the color. And you can get real technical if you want to, and add a little side petal here. You know, there's a whole bunch of different ways to make the pansies. And I always say the side little bud one is just kind of like a, looks like a pea pod or a half circle. And then you just attach the green and boom. I mean, you could just do a whole bouquet of buds. It would look gorgeous. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to hit the bell notification button to know my tutorial is up. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe so you know when my YouTube channel tutorial is up. And yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. And also don't forget to check out my Patreon. I have exclusive tutorials there on Thursdays. This past week we did a, what is it? This. We did a wine and cheese one. And that was a long one. That was like an hour video. So if you're a Patreon member in the middle tier and up, you get that exclusive tutorial with Traceable. So take care, guys. Have a fantastic weekend, and I will speak to you soon.